Chat, I just want to say, I don't know what is going on the internet. All I know is that people are really upset with, I saw a lot of people were really upset with Poki and Ray. And yeah, I agree. I'm also really upset with Poki and Ray. I don't know what they did, but I'm sure whatever they did was like really heinous and fucked up. And certainly they didn't do anything that was not heinous and fucked up. And for some reason, people are targeting them as lightning rods for their outrage and frustration, despite the fact that other people have actually done heinous and fucked up shit. And then weirdly enough, they are the ones getting more hate despite not doing heinous and wrong shit. That's crazy. That's just wild. After the Ava Tyson stuff came out, people were wondering why Poki and Ray didn't respond with like the disgusting tweets, like the same energy, right, as Dr. Disrespect. My understanding was, I thought there's two reasons. One is like a very simple explanation that I can give to you guys is like my interpretation of the whole thing. The simple explanation is, well, Dr. Disrespect literally made a statement and basically confirmed everything. So his was like, yeah, we have full confirmation of this stuff. The Ava stuff was still happening and there hadn't been a statement made by Ava at the time. So like, you know, it's like with the Dr. Disrespect stuff, they kind of had like all the info they needed to just. Number two, and this is a little bit more of like a nuanced take. People were like, hey, if you're messaging kids, if you're a groomer, like pedophile, it doesn't matter. Hey, same thing as it doesn't matter who it is. This is a little bit of a weird, this is like a nuanced take, but and maybe I'm wrong for it, but I'm like, the context does kind of matter with maybe how you approach the discussion, because the way in which you approach it can actually hurt real people. And my thought is this. You know, when Dr. Disrespect, that stuff comes out, it's like, hey, like you're a straight dude with a wife and kids, messaging minors, cheating on them, hey, whatever. That is what it is. Not like whatever, but it's like, hey, that's bad. When I say whatever, that's more like hey, that's bad. Like, but we know of that, right? There is a long running narrative that has, you know, been used as a weapon against trans communities. That, oh, like trans people are the ones who are diddling kids, right? Oh, they're the ones who are mostly at fault with it. That's a narrative, and that narrative is then used to and weaponized in really bad ways politically. I mean, it can literally lead to like actual like violence against trans people. Like, bad. That's why, obviously, if you're messaging kids, you're grooming kids, you're being pedophile, that's bad. But when the Ava stuff comes out, I can understand why you might be a little bit more cautious. You haven't heard a statement from them, and you also know that there is a narrative around this. Now, does that mean, like, guys, are there trans people who are pedophiles? Yes. Are there straight people who are pedophiles? Yes. As far as I know, probably the only statistically significant group that commits more pedophilia than most, if I was to be a stats major, is probably Catholic priests. That might be, I'm sorry. That might be the only like actual group where we found it. But guess what? People in all sorts of groups do this, right? That shouldn't speak on the group, right? The problem is, and so Ray and Poki are probably we're probably being a little bit more reserved. Maybe this was in their mind, maybe it wasn't. Maybe they literally were just waiting for the statement. But in their minds, they're probably like, hey, this is a real sort of. Now, I am certain that in our day and age, 2024, though, that those fears that they might have had about that are unfounded. I guarantee that. And you know what? I'll say this. Ray, Poki, you guys were probably in the wrong on that, because it's the year 2024. There's no way that people are still going to run with a narrative that, trans people are the ones committing pedophilia. It's some sort of mental illness, stuff like that. There's no way that there's a ton of responses literally to Ray and Poki that therefore prove the point of why they should be cautious about this. It's not like a bunch of people run with this narrative and hyper focus on the fact that Ava's trans and are making it all about their identity and not the fact that, hey, some people just fucking do bad shit. There's no way people are running with that narrative. See, like, it's case in point, you know. Anyways, that was my whole thought on it. Is like I think they were just being cautious on it. But the listen, it's what simplest solution is usually the correct solution. With the doctor disrespect stuff, he made a statement and admitted to it. With the Ava stuff, they just hadn't heard from Ava yet. Simple. Anyways, is there a single not piece of shit person who needs this explanation though, Blau? I am genuinely shocked by the amount of I will say, if one thing in this, listen, chat, what have I been saying for a while? Don't stand creators. Don't put them on a pedestal. They do weird shit. And if you guys are wondering if it's like, oh my God, it's only creators that, bro, it's not just creators. People do weird shit. The reason why you see it from creators is because they're eventually going to get caught for the weird shit they've done. Don't stand them. That's number one. I've been saying this for a while. Number two, I am genuinely, though, surprised at the number of people and rhetoric from this whole thing that was, instead of just, yo, this is fucked up, we need to set very clear, like, we need to be talking about how to protect children, make sure children are not being fucking groomed, bing, bang, bob. We moved away from that to being trans is a mental illness. Here's all these people who don't affirm people's pronouns, yada, 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 like, just, like, mean shit. And by the way, I've even talked to Chad about this. I don't think I'm like a fucking crazy, you know, blue-haired, you know, hyper, you know, liberal, like, oh my God, you need, you know, and then again, you see these clips, I see these clips on TikTok where it's like people where it's like, you need to respect my pronouns. How dare you don't, right? This sort of like boogeyman of stuff. Listen, I'm someone where like, I probably have fucked up people's pronouns before, but I'm the kind of person where like, if I say, you know, oh, like he was going over there and like, oh, actually it's she, I'd be like, oh, okay. Oh, she was going over there. I just fucking correct it and just move on with my fucking day, right? Well, I'm not the person who's like going like fucking crazy over it. And for me, I'm like, it is disturbing how many people are just so hateful and denying of people's rights to just fucking exist. Crazy shit.